2:47 a.m. My phone lit up the dark bedroom like a flashbang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something, instinct maybe, made me reach for it. Hello? Heavy breathing, music thumping in the background, then a voice, slurred and cocky. Is this Nathan? Yeah, who's this? A laugh, sharp, mean. This is Richard Castellano, your wife's boss. I sat up. My wife, Emma, was supposedly at a team-building retreat in Denver. She left Friday morning. It was now Sunday night, technically Monday morning. Okay, I said carefully. Is Emma all right? Another laugh, louder this time. Emma? Oh, Emma's perfect. She's right here, actually, sleeping like an angel. My blood went cold. What? You heard me. His voice dropped, turned cruel. You know she's mine, right? I mean, you know that, don't you? I couldn't breathe. I mean, she goes home to you, he continued, words stumbling over each other. But she's mine. She told me. She said you're, what was it? Safe. That's the word. Safe. Something in my brain clicked. I pulled the phone away from my ear, opened the voice memo app, hit record, and put him on speaker. Richard, I said steadily, say that again. I want to make sure I heard you right. And he did. For the next 4 minutes and 37 seconds, Richard Castellano, VP of Sales at Meridian Tech, married father of 3, pillar of the Denver business community, told me everything. How long it had been going on, where they'd been, what my wife had said about me. He thought he was bragging. He didn't know he was handing me a loaded gun. When he finally hung up, I sat in the dark, phone in my hand, and smiled for the first time in months. If you want to know what I did with that recording and how it cost him everything, hit subscribe, because what happened next didn't just end his career, it ended his marriage, his reputation, and his freedom. This is the story of how one drunk phone call destroyed a man who thought he was untouchable. My name is Nathan Pierce. I'm 38 years old and I live in Boulder, Colorado. I'm a software engineer. I work from home most days, writing code for a cybersecurity firm that most people have never heard of. I'm not flashy. I don't drive a sports car or wear designer clothes. I'm the guy in the hoodie at the coffee shop, headphones on, laptop open, just working. My wife, Emma, is the opposite. Emma is 36, a senior account manager at Meridian Tech, one of the fastest-growing SaaS companies in Denver. She's ambitious, driven, the kind of person who networks at 7 a.m. breakfast meetings and closes deals over cocktails at 9 p.m. She wears power suits. She talks in quarterly projections and market penetration. And for 10 years, I thought we balanced each other out. I was the steady one. She was the spark. I was the foundation. She was the fireworks. Turns out, I was just the safety net she kept around while she jumped without a parachute. The sign started about 8 months ago. Late nights became later. Client dinners became weekend strategy sessions. Her phone, which used to sit on the kitchen counter, started living in her purse, always on silent, always face down. She started dressing differently. Not for me. I'd compliment a new outfit and she'd barely acknowledge it. But she'd spend an hour getting ready for a team meeting. And then there was Richard Castellano, VP of Sales, mid-40s, silver hair, expensive suits, the kind of guy who talks about his Peloton stats and his Tesla like they're personality traits. Emma mentioned him constantly. Richard thinks we should pivot our Q3 strategy. Richard says the key to closing enterprise deals is relationship building. Richard invited the whole team to his cabin in Vail for a retreat. At first, I didn't think much of it. She'd always talked about work. But then I noticed something. When she said his name, her voice changed, softened, like she was talking about someone she admired. No, someone she wanted to impress. 3 months ago, I started paying closer attention. I'm a software engineer, Pattern recognition is literally my job, and the patterns were everywhere. Emma's late nights coincided with Richard's social media posts from bars and restaurants. Her weekend work sessions aligned with his out-of-office replies. One Friday, she said she had to work late on a proposal. I checked her laptop that night, she'd left it open, and saw her calendar. No meetings, no deadlines, just a blocked-off evening labeled R, dinner. R, Richard. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I did what I do best. I gathered data. I'm not proud of this, but I installed a tracking app on her phone. Not spyware, just a family locator app that we'd used years ago when we were hiking a lot. It was still on both our phones, dormant. I reactivated it. Suddenly, I could see where she was, in real time, and the data told a story. Late nights at the office were actually late nights at the Nickel, an upscale bar in Lodo. Her client dinners were at restaurants I'd never heard of, in neighborhoods she had no clients in. And twice, her location pinged at the Ritz-Carlton downtown. For hours, in the middle of the afternoon. I took screenshots, saved them, organized them by date. I didn't say a word. I just watched the evidence pile up like snow before an avalanche. 2 weeks ago, Emma told me about the retreat. It's a team-building thing, she said, packing a suitcase on a Thursday night. Richard's idea. 3 days in Denver, strategy sessions, trust exercises, that kind of corporate nonsense. Sounds fun, I said, not looking up from my laptop. It's mandatory. Everyone on the sales team has to go. When do you leave? Tomorrow morning. I'll be back Sunday night. She kissed the top of my head, perfunctory, routine. Love you. Love you too. She left Friday at 6 a.m. I tracked her phone. She didn't go to Denver. She went to Vail, to Richard's cabin. I spent that weekend in a strange, cold clarity. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I didn't drink myself into oblivion. I worked. I pulled every piece of evidence I had, screenshots, timestamps, credit card statements from our joint account showing charges at hotels and restaurants. I organized it into a folder, labeled it, backed it up in 3 places. Then I called a lawyer. Her name was Monica Reeves. She came highly recommended, a shark in a blazer, people said. We met Saturday afternoon at a coffee shop in Boulder. I slid the folder across the table. She opened it, started reading. Her eyebrows went up. This is thorough. I'm thorough. She looked at me. You're also calm. Most people in your position are a mess. I'll fall apart later, I said. Right now, I need to know my options. She walked me through it. Colorado is a no-fault divorce state, but adultery still matters in asset division and alimony. If you can prove she was using marital funds to finance the affair, that's dissipation of assets. The court doesn't like that. I can prove it. Good. She closed the folder. Here's what we do. You don't confront her yet. You let her think everything's fine. Meanwhile, we file. We get ahead of this. And then we show her exactly what she's losing. I hired her on the spot. Sunday night I was in bed, pretending to sleep, when my phone rang. 2:47 a.m. Unknown number. I stared at it, heart pounding. Then I answered. Hello? Heavy breathing, music, laughter in the background. Is this Nathan? Yeah, who's this? This is Richard Castellano, your wife's boss. My stomach dropped, but my voice stayed steady. Okay, is Emma all right? A laugh, cruel, drunk. Emma? Oh, Emma's perfect. And then he said it. You know she's mine, right? I pulled the phone away from my ear, opened the voice memo app and hit record. Then I put him on speaker. Richard, I said slowly, say that again. I want to make sure I heard you right. And he did. For the next 4 minutes and 37 seconds, Richard Castellano buried himself. He told me how long it had been going on.
6 months. He told me where they'd been, his cabin, hotels, a weekend in Scottsdale that she told you was a conference. He told me what Emma had said about me. She said, "You're safe," that's the word, safe, like a backup plan. He laughed. She said you'd never leave her, that you're too, what was it, comfortable. Every word was a knife, but I didn't flinch. I just let him talk. He bragged about the cabin, about the weekend they'd just spent together. She's sleeping right now in my bed, wore her out, you know? He thought he was winning. He didn't realize he was handing me everything I needed. Finally, his voice got quieter. "You're not gonna, do anything crazy, are you?" "No, I'm not." Good, because, it's not personal, man. It's just, she's incredible, and you're, I know. He hung up. I sat in the dark, phone in my hand, recording saved, and I smiled. The next morning, I sent the recording to Monica. She called me 10 minutes later. "Nathan, this is a gift." "I know." This admitted to adultery. He admitted to using company resources, his cabin, company trips. He implicated himself in potential workplace misconduct. What do I do with it? First, we use it in the divorce. This is evidence of adultery and dissipation of assets. And second, she paused. Second, you could destroy him. How? Send it to his wife. Send it to his company's HR department. Send it to the board of directors. Richard Castellano is a VP at a publicly traded company. If this gets out, he's done.
I thought about it. "Let me sit on it," I said. "I want to do this right. Smart. Don't act out of anger. Act strategically." I hung up and stared at the ceiling. Richard thought I was safe, comfortable, too weak to fight back. He was about to learn how wrong he was. Emma came home Sunday night, around 9 p.m. She walked in with her suitcase, looking tired but relaxed. "Hey," she said, dropping her bag by the door. "How was your weekend?" "Quiet," I said. "How was the retreat?" "Exhausting. Lots of trust falls and icebreakers." She rolled her eyes. "Corporate nonsense." She went to the kitchen, poured a glass of wine, and started telling me about the sessions they'd done. I listened, nodded, smiled, and said nothing. She had no idea. The next morning, I filed for divorce. Monica had the papers drawn up over the weekend. We filed electronically Monday at 9 a.m. By 10 a.m., a process server was on his way to Emma's office. I went about my day, answered emails, wrote code, made lunch. At 2:30 p.m., my phone rang. Emma. "What the fuck, Nathan?" I put her on speaker. "Hey, what's up?" "Don't what's up me. I just got served with divorce papers at work in front of my entire team." "Oh, yeah, sorry about the timing." "Sorry about the... Are you insane? What is this?" "It's a divorce petition." "I can see that. Why?" I paused, let the silence stretch. "Because you've been sleeping with your boss for 6 months. The line went dead quiet. I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." "Nathan, I think you're confused." "I have evidence, Emma. Photos, timestamps, credit card statements, and a recording." "A recording?" "Of Richard calling me at 2 a.m. Sunday night, drunk, telling me everything." I could hear her breathing, fast, panicked. "You're bluffing." "I'm not." Another pause. "I'm coming home. We need to talk." "No," I said. "We don't. Talk to your lawyer." I hung up. She showed up anyway. I heard her car in the driveway 20 minutes later. The front door slammed open. "Nathan!" I was in the living room, laptop open, headphones on. I took them off slowly. I said, "Talk to your lawyer." "I'm not talking to a lawyer. I'm talking to you." She was crying, mascara running. The polished, powerful Emma was gone. This was raw panic. "How could you do this?" she sobbed. "How could you just file for divorce without even talking to me?" "I tried talking to you," I said calmly. "For months. You were too busy fucking your boss." She flinched. It wasn't like that. What was it like? It was a mistake, a stupid mistake. I was confused, and he was paying attention to me. And I wasn't. You were always working. You were always in your own world. I was working to support us while you climbed the corporate ladder. That's not fair. No, I agreed. It's not. She sank onto the couch. Please, Nathan, we can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. I don't want to fix this. Why not? I looked at her, really looked at her. Because you called me safe. You told Richard I was your backup plan, that I'd never leave you because I'm too comfortable. Her face went white. He told you that? I told him everything.
She buried her face in her hands. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. I know, I said, but sorry doesn't fix this. I stood up. You should go. This is my house, too. Not for long. Over the next week, the dominoes started falling. First, Emma hired a lawyer, a bulldog named Greg Hartman, who immediately tried to paint me as controlling and vindictive. Monica shut him down with the evidence. The recording, the photos, the credit card statements showing Emma had spent over $12,000 of marital funds on hotels, dinners, and trips with Richard. Greg tried to argue that the recording was inadmissible. Monica pointed out that Colorado is a one-party consent state. I was legally allowed to record my own phone calls. Greg tried to argue that Emma deserved alimony because she'd supported me early in our marriage. Monica pointed out that I'd been the primary earner for the last 7 years, and that Emma had committed adultery. Every angle Greg tried, Monica blocked. Within 2 weeks, he was advising Emma to settle. But I wasn't done, because Richard Castellano still had no idea what was coming. I sat on the recording for 3 weeks, let him think he'd gotten away with it. Then, one Friday afternoon, I sent 3 emails. The first went to Richard's wife, Catherine. Subject line, "You deserve to know the truth." Body, "Catherine, I'm sorry to contact you this way. My name is Nathan Pierce. I'm married to Emma Pierce, who works with your husband. I recently discovered that Richard and Emma have been having an affair for the past 6 months. I've attached a recording of a phone call Richard made to me where he admits to the affair and provides details. I thought you should hear it from someone who understands what you're going through. I'm sorry." I attached the recording and hit send. The second email went to Meridian Tech's HR department. Subject line, "Formal complaint regarding VP Richard Castellano." Body, "To whom it may concern, I'm writing to file a formal complaint against Richard Castellano, VP of Sales. Mr. Castellano has been engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a subordinate employee, Emma Pierce. This relationship has involved the use of company resources, including company-sponsored trips, and Mr. Castellano's company-provided cabin in Vail. I've attached evidence, including a recorded phone call where Mr. Castellano admits to the affair. I believe this constitutes a violation of your company's ethics policy and creates a hostile work environment. Please investigate." I attached the recording and a summary of the evidence. Hit send. The third email went to the board of directors at Meridian Tech. I'd done my research. Meridian was a publicly traded company. They had a board of 7 directors, all of whom had publicly listed email addresses. Subject line, "Urgent. Ethics violation by Richard Castellano." Dear board members, I'm writing to bring to your attention a serious ethics violation by Richard Castellano, VP of Sales. Mr. Castellano has been engaged in an affair with a subordinate employee and has used company resources to facilitate this relationship. I've attached evidence, including a recorded admission. Given Meridian's recent IPO and public profile, I believe this matter requires immediate attention. Sincerely, Nathan Pierce. I attached the recording and hit send. Then I sat back and waited. It didn't take long. By Monday morning, my phone was blowing up. Emma called. I didn't answer. Richard called. I didn't answer. Monica called. I did answer. "Nathan," she said, voice tight, "what did you do?" "I sent some emails." "To who?" "Richard's wife, Meridian's HR, their board of directors." Silence. "Nathan, that recording is nuclear." "I know." "You just ended his career." "I know." She paused. "How do you feel?" "Honestly, pretty good." She laughed. "Okay, well, buckle up, because this is about to get messy." It got messy. By Tuesday, Richard was placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. By Wednesday, his wife had filed for divorce. By Friday, Meridian's board announced that Richard Castellano was no longer with the company. No severance, no golden parachute. Just gone. The story leaked to the press, not the recording, just the broad strokes. Meridian Tech VP ousted after affair with subordinate. Richard's name was mud. His wife took the house, the cars, and primary custody of their 3 kids. His reputation in the Denver business community was destroyed, all because of one drunk phone call. Emma tried to salvage her job. She claimed she was the victim, that Richard had pressured her, that she'd felt she couldn't say no. HR didn't buy it. They had the recording. They had the evidence. Emma was asked to resign. She refused. They fired her. The divorce moved quickly after that. With no job and no leverage, Emma had no choice but to settle. She got her car, her retirement account, and that's it. I kept the house, my retirement, and my dignity. The whole thing was finalized in 4 months. 6 months after that drunk phone call, I was sitting on my back porch, drinking coffee, watching the sun come up over the Flatirons. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You destroyed my life." I stared at it, knew immediately who it was. Richard. I thought about responding, thought about saying something cutting or clever. Instead, I just blocked the number, because the truth was, I didn't destroy his life. He did. I just hit record. People ask me if I regret it, sending those emails, blowing up Richard's career, ending Emma's job. I don't. Not because I'm vindictive, but because they made choices. They chose to lie, to cheat, to use company resources and marital funds to finance an affair. They chose to disrespect me, their spouses, their families. I just chose not to be silent about it. A year later, I'm doing fine. I'm still in Boulder, still writing code, still drinking bad coffee and wearing hoodies, but I'm lighter now, freer. I started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'm open to it. I learned something through all this. You don't have to be loud to be strong. You don't have to be flashy to be powerful. Sometimes the quietest move is the most devastating. Richard thought I was safe, comfortable, weak. He thought wrong. If you've ever been underestimated, if you've ever had someone think they could walk all over you, if you've ever been called safe like it's an insult, this one's for you. Hit subscribe for more stories about the quiet power of knowing when to stay silent and when to hit send. Comment, "I hit record" if this resonates, because the best revenge isn't loud, it's documented.